Hello, welcome Solex Nation. We are just 3 short months away from Dave Discovery. Can you even believe it?
Yeah, I love that. It's going to be a great event. It's here in Utah. It's September
13th and 14th.
Oh, good job. I'm so glad you remembered because that was going to be a blooper. Yeah, 13th and 14th out here in Utah. It's at the Experience Event Center.
Yeah, same place we had last year. It's going to be so great. So many new launches, new things in the scanner that you won't believe.
Yes.
Something you're not seeing coming.
We are always trying to shock you
with
what we roll out. But one of the things that we're going to do is we actually have a price increase coming up. On July 1st, the price for those tickets to this event will increase. And so if you want to make the commitment to get out here to Utah in September, now's the time to get your ticket, make those plans, get the hotel scheduled, and come out with a group. Come out together. Yeah, we love always seeing the videos of people road tripping on their way out here.
So fun. Just a little disclaimer though, if we do hit our max ticket capacity, we will shut off the ticket sales. So if you are thinking about coming, it's a good idea to get those tickets now.
Yeah, so come join us. High fives. Big hugs.
All right, we have a new license plate that we are adding to our allowed plates.
Allowed plates.
Allowed plates. This one is MindSync. This is Diane, Kodak, Wisconsin. Love to see the MindSync. That's a new one. So now we have 4.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, we have AO Scan.
Mm-hmm.
We have Solex.
Yes.
We have Solex 1.
Well, I mean, that's a variation of Solex.
We have Cephi.
Yes.
And we have MindSync.
Yes.
Great job, Diane. Thanks for submitting that. You get a Solex silver coin, and you're part of the legacy group for getting that plate. That's a real DMV issued license plate.
That's right. And speaking of legacy group and Dave Discovery, we are going to have a legacy group dinner on the Friday night of Dave Discovery. So if you are coming, you're now in the legacy group, you get to come to that dinner at Dave Discovery.
Okay, and if you'll notice in this description for this call, there is a link there for asking for your AO Scan testimonials.
Yes, we are collecting AO Scan testimonials. We want to hear them all. We will be using them in a multitude of ways on this call, on social media, and then we also want to find some people that are willing to have an in-depth story done. And all of these ways are going to be so cool and so great for you to use as shareables to share with other people about AO Scan technology. But we don't know who you are if you don't tell us. So please go to the link, and even if you think your story is not a huge story.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Still submit it. Every story counts.
You know, we've asked for testimonials as part of our contest at the end of the call, and this isn't necessarily part of that, but this is something that if you've told your story before, don't be afraid to tell it again here, because this is something that we're specifically targeting to look where we can use that story to help other people understand the power of the AO Scan technology.
That's it. Yes, that is it. So please submit those. Don't be afraid to do that. Give us as much detail as possible. Okay, last week
we had a contest about sleep.
We did. We wanted to know, what are your sleep experiences? And we're talking specifically about with our product, sleep.
Yeah, not just in general. Right? I mean, that would be fun, but
we're going to give away 3 bottles of sleep.
Yeah. One
to each.
I already picked 2.
He always cheats. That's so cheating.
But I'm only going to read one right now.
Okay.
And then you'll read one, and then I'll read the last one. So I already drew it. All right. Sherry Fletcher. I took a few weeks for sleep. It took a few weeks for sleep to fully work into my system, but when it did, baby, being postmenopausal, sleep was hard to come by. With sleep, I am out like a light, no tossing and turning to fall asleep anymore. I was so impressed with my own results, that I gave a bottle to my mom for Mother's Day. She's now sleeping easier too. I'm proud to be a user of sleep. Great job.
I love that. I've noticed the same thing. No tossing and turning. I just sleep the whole night through. Your mom is also, I need sleep, I'm running out. She won't go without it.
And she lets me know. I get the warning signal.
Yep. Okay. Got one. This is Linda Abbey. Sleep has helped me get off Benadryl as my go-to sleep aid. Thank you. Aw, I love that.
That is. That's great. All right. Now I already drew this one. This is Paige Haynes down in Australia.
Yeah.
I use frequencies every night for my sleep, but sometimes I know I'm going to have a particularly difficult time going to sleep. And that's when I use sleep. It works every time. Love it so much. Me too.
Very
Great
good.
job.
Well,
Everybody gets a bottle of
congratulations.
sleep.
Yep, you're all getting sleep. All right, let's move on to our top enrollers. We have no ties this week, but we do have a fun little family dynamic going on here.
Yeah.
So this is for the week of May 27th through June 2nd.
And if I say who came in second place, you may guess who's in first if you know this group. Deborah Carlson, great job, second place.
And in first place, she's back, baby. Simmons Holistics Inc. She actually just had a baby a couple of weeks ago, so she has not been in top enrollers, but look at this. She's already back. Congratulations to both of you.
Yeah, great job. Silver coins to the top enroller, Simmons Holistic. This is her 98th coin. Great job.
All right, we're going to turn the time over now to Jennifer Nelson Hawks and Jake Watson.
When you're eating in a mindful state or a parasympathetic state, so you're calm, that rest and digest that you talk about, can you maybe describe that ideal situation for eating?
Sure.
Because when we don't eat correctly or we don't have that good circumstance for eating, it can affect our poop. It can affect the digestive system.
Correct.
And you also explained when we're not in that parasympathetic state, it also kind of compromises the digestive system in the body in processing that food efficiently or ideally, right?
That's correct. Because if you're in a very mindful state, that parasympathetic state that you just talked about, that rest and digest state, that is a state that allows the body to do the processes that it is designed to do. So if you're creating a digestive process for your body, you're eating lunch, right? And you're sitting at your desk and you're mindful eating, you're taking some deep breaths, you are putting your fork down between each bite, you are chewing thoroughly. Yeah, I just have to say this. I used to make fun of my grandmother for chewing 30 to 40 times. I was like, when is she ever going to stop chewing? But now being older, I look back and think, oh my gosh, she had it all right all along. You know, we would just inhale our food and be ready for the next thing. But the truth is that in order for our bodies to absorb the nutrients from the food that we're taking in, right? We make the choices. We make the healthy choices. Does this plate of food have enough protein? Does it have enough carbohydrates? Does it have enough fats? You know, we tend to be like, okay, I need to eat more salads versus, a hamburger or French fries. But really, it's also the state that your body's in when you're consuming that food that makes a huge difference. And that's because it gives your body time to actually absorb the nutrients from your small intestine through your bloodstream, basically, and into the parts of your body that need it. Is it your brain? Is it a healing process? Is it just pulling out the vitamins and minerals that it actually needs from your food? Now, if you are in a sympathetic state, you're go, 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 you're eating on the fly, you're throwing food in your mouth as you're running down the hallway, you can't shovel it in fast enough. One, you haven't even prepared your digestive system for food because you're doing it so quickly, right? The second aspect is your body's like, I don't know what to do with this. Am I supposed to be calming this person down? Am I supposed to be working with the vagal system? Am I supposed to be working with the brain? Or am I supposed to be working with digestion? So digestion will typically take a back seat to all of that.
And you're talking about energy expenditure throughout the body.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. Where does the body need to send the most energy to be the most proactive and efficient at that time? And digestion always falls short.
That's a bummer.
It's a bummer, but it's true.
Okay, so once we set the stage for good eating and preparing our body to digest, then as we consume that food, chew it thoroughly.
Yes, because
just think
your
of Jen's
stomach,
grandma 30 to 40 times, right?
I know. And your stomach does not have teeth.
Okay.
So the chewing starts in your mouth. What you do not chew in your mouth and you put into your stomach, that's when your body has to break down the rest of that food.
And it'll wait until it's completely broken down before it starts sending it through?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
No, there's
So
a transit time.
Okay, so now we're starting to enter the stomach. So it goes through the esophagus into the stomach.
Correct.
And we have a lot of things going on there. And then we can talk about the cocktail that you briefly mentioned.
Yes.
It's this delicious cocktail.
I don't know if I would go with delicious,
and bile
but
and
yes,
enzymes.
exactly.
I bet it looks great. Have you ever seen a picture maybe?
Well,
of what
okay.
all that looks like together? I'm just curious.
I mean,
On the rocks, salt.
That sounds disgusting.
Okay,
But
sorry.
if you do think about it, if you've ever vomited before, you're going to see that bile. You're going to feel that acid come up your esophagus. So that is the acid that is in your stomach that is supposed to stay in your stomach and break down that excess foods.
Okay. And that's why your throat hurts.
Yep.
That's why your mouth tingles when
Yep.
you're sick and you throw
Yep.
up.
Yep.
Or acid reflux.
Acid
you can
reflux.
Feel that.
Yep. So acid reflux is oftentimes people think of acid reflux as having too much acid, too much hydrochloric acid in their stomach. But really, it's actually opposite. You don't have enough hydrochloric acid to tell the body to close that esophageal sphincter. So you have the acids that are constantly coming up. So that's what's called acid reflux.
They're having that churning.
Mm-hmm.
But if that
sphincter
isn't closed.
That's correct.
Okay.
It will come, it'll come back up.
So it's not a matter of too much hydrochloric acid.
No,
it's just that valve isn't closed, which is typically signals have been sent that that we have enough hydrochloric acid. But if there's not enough, that valve isn't receiving that signal.
That's correct.
Am I understanding that right?
Yes, but also if someone's creating too much acid, the same thing will happen.
Oh, okay.
So there is a fine balance. Yes.
Oh.
But most people have the lack of hydrochloric acid. Most people don't have enough hydrochloric acid. So hydrochloric acid does more than just break down protein, in a sense, right? That's the biggest thing. It helps break down the protein particles into a smaller formation so that then the pancreas can release what's called protease to break down the rest of that protein. But the hydrochloric acid also acts as a buffer against anything that comes in contact with it. So it is the organisms that you're breathing or eating on a day-to-day basis, because we have pesticides, we have parasites, we have bacterias, we have viruses, we have all those things. We have worms that are on our food. They're on our food every day. We're breathing them in every day. Underneath the fingernails. If someone has long fingernails, that's where that all harbors. It's where it sticks. And then you pick up food and you put it in your mouth and you're literally transporting bacteria into the mouth. So if you have enough hydrochloric acid, that is your first line of defense. So it acts as multiple things, digestion and your immune system.
Okay. So how does lack thereof of hydrochloric acid, or too much, or just an imbalance in hydrochloric acid, how can you see that in your poop? Is there any way that you can, if you're pooping and you're looking after you poop, because that's important.
Yes.
Is there any indications that you can look at your poop and be like, oof, my hydrochloric acids might be off? And if not, is there a tool that we have in our hands that can
Yes. Okay. So these are great questions. And the answer to that in short is hydrochloric acid doesn't work alone to break down food. Okay. So when you don't really eliminate and look at your stool and say, oh, I don't have enough hydrochloric acid, right? You're going to have the symptoms of it. You're going to have acid reflux. You're going to have heartburn, or you're going to have undigested food in your poo. But so what happens is that hydrochloric acid is kind of the messenger that tells the gallbladder to send bile over and how much to send, because it's measuring how much hydrochloric acid is in the stomach against food. And it says, hey, I need X amount of bile, send that over. And then it's telling your pancreas, hey, I need enzymes, send those over. So then you have this beautiful cocktail of digestive enzymes going on in your stomach to continue to break down that process, so that when it gets into the small intestine doesn't have to do the breakdown process. It starts to absorb the vitamins and minerals, nutrients from the food that has now been digested down.
Okay. So speaking of this cocktail, I have a friend, and his name is Drake. And he told me to ask you this, and sometimes when he has bowel movements, and I'd say Drake is pretty regular, and he notices on occasion, maybe more than just on occasion, that his poop floats.
Okay.
And so he's asked me to ask you that, and maybe we could go over that a little bit. But does that have anything to do, or what would you look for first? Does it have anything to do with that cocktail? Or does it have or is it further down the line into the intestines? Like, maybe you could explain.
Absolutely.
Is it good to float, or is it not good to float?
when you have poop that floats, I want you to think about the inability to break down fat.
Okay.
Because you've got too much fat in the stool, even though you can't necessarily see it, that it creates buoyancy. So it floats to the top of the water of the bowl. And that can be from a couple of different things. One, overeating fat. So somebody that's maybe on a ketogenic diet, eating a lot of fat, could see signs of their poop floating. Another area to go to would be, I think about the gallbladder. Because the gallbladder stores bile that's being produced from the liver. So gallbladder, the bile is produced of bile salts, cholesterol, bilirubin. And what that is then it goes into the gallbladder, which is just a sac. And then the hydrochloric acid tells the gallbladder, hey, squeeze out a little bit of bile here. If you don't have a gallbladder, that is going to be number one problem. It's going to be a problem. You need to support yourself with that. Number two is if you don't have enough, maybe you don't have enough lipase. So lipase is coming from the pancreas. So the bile comes in and helps to emulsify that fat down to smaller molecules so that the lipase can then come in and break it down into fatty acids. If the body can't be, if you don't have enough of either one of those and the body can't break it down enough, it's going to be in your stool and it's going to float.
Okay. So say, I am on a ketogenic diet, or I have, sometimes when I've tried, Drake, he has a diet and he sees that, healthy fats are essential, like for a healthy body.
Absolutely.
And if secret's out. It's me, okay? I don't have a name.
Listen, we all have a story.
Drake, and I'm going to keep saying
we all have a story.
So if I'm trying to eat enough healthy fats, or what I think is a good, checking my macros here and there.
Yep.
If I'm not having the correct amount, or if I'm not having a balance of bile, which is sending that lipase from the pancreas to break up those fats, it's going in my poop. But is it affecting my cholesterol? Is it affecting, is it making me fatter? Like, is the fat staying there? Like,
so it's not so much about, that's a loaded question.
Okay.
Because everybody's a little bit different. It would be worth looking. So if you have your AO scan and you're scanning, you're going to look at your digestive enzyme section. You're also going to look to see what your gallbladder's doing. Does your gallbladder keep showing up? Does lipase keep showing up? Because if either one of those do, there's a good chance that you're just not producing enough enzymes to support the amount of fats that you're bringing in. Okay. So those are areas that you want to look at. You also want to look at, is the color of your stool, is it brown or is it a pale color? If it's a more pale color, bile is kind of like a food coloring. It creates a brown color. Okay. So if a stool is more of a pale yellow, a pale brown or even a yellowy or gray color, that is oftentimes a clue to look at the gallbladder, your gallbladder. Now, gallbladder and liver are very closely related. So if you ever have right upper quadrant pain as well, especially when you eat fats, that's also another indication from the body. The body's saying, hey, I can't break this down enough. And it just creates congestion, and you're going to feel that congestion. And if you don't feel it, that's okay. That's fine. You don't have to feel it, but it is a sign if you do feel it.
Okay. Congestion as in constipation?
Nope.
As in bloating?
So if someone has liver gallbladder pain, they're going to feel like a heaviness right under their right rib cage.
Okay.
Kind of right under the breastbone area. Another indication that the body will tell someone if their gallbladder is just kind of acting up is sometimes people can get a pain between their shoulder blades. It's a referred pain.
And that's where we go to finding the root causes of pains around our body
That's
that
right.
can be indicative of
That's
certain
right.
problems. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're and since you've been here the past couple of days, you've kind of came up with this term of breakout scans.
Uh-huh.
So in the AO scan, how can you set yourself up for a good digestive / poop breakout scan. And I'm assuming you go to vitals.
Yep.
And then where do you go from there? If you were to look and just wanted maybe kind of a comprehensive view
Yep.
on how your digestive system and your poop is going.
Well, the beautiful thing is there is a digestive section in the vital scan. So that's the area that I start with.
Okay, so you like deselect all, and then you go and
I would
find...
really just run. I would first run a full vital scan, kind of just take a quick glance of what's going on in the digestive section, right? What's hydrochloric acid doing? What are all the pancreatic enzymes doing? Are any of them showing up? There's also gallbladder in there. There's liver, gallbladder. Just take a look at those. If nothing is populating, that's okay. If something is populating, that's also okay. So then then I'll go over to the body system scan and I will deselect all and I'll just select digestion, the digestive scan. And then I will run that to kind of look and see like, why is my digestive system off a little bit today? Is it, is it the lack of hydration? Is it the lack of fiber? Is it the lack of the inability to sit down and actually eat a meal properly, being in a parasympathetic state? Am I eating too much of one category of food? So are my macros completely out of balance? Some people, based on, that as a one-on-one practitioner that I have in my clinic, I'm also doing functional stool testing. But what that shows me is there's specific enzymes that the body creates as well called like steacrit. Steacrit it's a perfect marker that shows that maybe the body can't even produce or cannot break down enough fat. So that is when those are just kind of indications that that you have to supplement with a lipase. So that's a digestive enzyme.
And then that's different also with, if you don't have a gallbladder, for instance, then you also need to supplement with, what would you supplement with? Obviously, if you don't have a gallbladder, you don't have that storage of bile.
Sure. So there's many things. There's through the scanner, you could do the bile salts. So you could also bitters. So eating, arugula, doing dandelion teas, anything that's a bitter can help with gallbladder. Another beautiful thing is you could take a tea, right? You make a dandelion tea, and you put it on the scanner and imprint anything you can that has to do with digestion into that. So you're literally giving your body the indication or the cues that it needs to go in and kind of work with the gallbladder. But then you're also getting that actual bitter to help with the physical process of the gallbladder. There's also digestive enzymes. Ox bile is another one that you can find in some supplementation form.
Oh, okay. So from the stomach, and ideally, we're having a good balance of HCl. We're having bile coming in. We're having some of those pancreatic enzymes coming in, breaking down all the food. So now we're setting the stage for a good absorption, right?
Yes, correct.
And absorption, how does that process start?
Okay, so back to my story, right? I had a lot of antibiotic use. So what happens is when the stomach lining gets broken down, that turns into what we have heard of before is what's called leaky gut. And if you think about leaky gut, the best way that I can describe it to people is if you have a strainer, right? So you have a strainer that has holes in it, like you put spaghetti in and you strain all the water out of it. But what happens is when that lining is not fully intact, that it creates a permeability issue. So you get this semi-digested food from into the stomach, and what happens is these food particles will slip through the digestive lining into the bloodstream. So it's happening in the
terrifying.
It's happening in the stomach before it's happening in the small intestine.
So I could have a piece of corn in my arm.
It's not quite that.
Okay.
It's broken down further than that.
Okay.
But the reality is these proteins and antigens are being released into the bloodstream, which are causing the immune system to go on overdrive. Okay.
So that's taking energy away from your digestion. So it's causing havoc.
It's causing havoc. Yep. It's causing a lot of inflammation. It's a precursor to autoimmune. It's the precursor to having your immune system just be on edge all the time. Okay. So if you have, let's just say everything's perfect. You don't have leaky gut. You've got a perfect array of enzymes coming in. It gets into the small intestine. You're absorbing those nutrients. You're absorbing your vitamins and your minerals, your fatty acids, your amino acids, all those things. Then when the small intestine, there's a transit time, so it's slowly kind of moving through, and it gets to, there's a ileocecal valve between your small intestine and your large intestine. So it's a valve that goes one way. So it shoots it into your large intestine where it's prepping for elimination, because this is now all the particles of food that needs to be out, okay? So when it goes through the large intestine and you eliminate it, the body, you can see multiple processes that are happening. So if you're having, candy bar log looking poops, that's a good thing. If you're having like little Skittle poops, okay, they're not the rainbow. Little brown Skittle poops. Those are going to be an indication that you need more water. So if you think about, have you ever been on a water slide? Okay.
Oh.
And think about going down the water slide. I am terrified of water slides. I do not like dark places. So, those enclosed water slides you go through and you get to that dark, like I go into a full panic. But I have been in one where I didn't have enough water flowing with me. So I literally, my bum got stuck on the side. Stop. Yeah, that's terrifying.
Oh, sorry. Am I taking you to that place again?
That's terrifying. So, but it kind of falls into play here because it's the same thing that happens when that debris doesn't have water to push it through. It dries up, it gets hard, and then it doesn't stick together. Okay, so it becomes these little pellets. So just like then you turn, they add more water to the slide, and then all of a sudden, shoop, you just kind of plop out. Same thing that happens in the large intestine. So you get that hydration because it's soaking up water. That those toxins, that debris is soaking up fluid, and then it eliminates much easier. So the drier, the harder it is, those pellety type poos are an indication of the lack of hydration. Okay.
And that can cause constipation.
Constipation.
Because that water slide is
Yeah.
all clogged up.
Yeah.
And I think you also mentioned.
And some hemorrhoids with
that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with the peristalsis.
Yep.
If that pump is still going.
Yep.
It's just compacting.
Yep.
Compacting.
But eventually that peristalsis will stop because it's not moving anymore.
So that's dysfunction.
Yep. That's going to be a motility issue.
Okay.
Yep. So, but contrary to those little pellets and too much or too little water for the hydration aspect, there's also where you've got enough hydration going on, but you're not eating enough fiber. So fiber creates bulk. Okay. So if you have bowel movements that are really like cow pies that just aren't held together, diarrhea, constant diarrhea, that could also be a sign of the lack of fiber. Diarrhea oftentimes is just another sign of constipation, though.
Oh,
because the body has to,
that,
so when you have congestion going on, right, the body still has to eliminate. It has to eliminate. We get toxic. Right? So what we do is we take milk of magnesia, we take magnesium citrate, malate, oxide, we take other forms of things to make us go to the bathroom. And
my grandma would give us dried apricots.
Prunes, dried apricots, all the things.
This will help you poop, sweetie.
Yes, yes. So our body then breaks things down that has no fiber, and so it has to squeeze past that area of congestion and eliminate. So that can be another form. Now, if someone is eating food and they're eliminating within 20 minutes after they consume food, that is oftentimes going to be something else. Typically, there's a pathogen involved with that.
All right, it's a slightly uncomfortable call tonight for those that don't enjoy talking about their bowel movements.
Yeah, not this group.
Not this group. Everybody does here.
No,
all kinds of comments, I'm sure, on the live chat.
Yeah. We've just finished up the winter months. We've finished up, winter and spring. We're getting ready for summer, and this is the time we want to go out and be our best, have a lot of fun, and do some great things. Yeah. One of the things we really need to do is kind of detox from all the stuff that we've been feeding ourselves over these last few months and get ready for summer. So I think maybe a really good thing is let us know what your go-to is for detoxing and getting ready for the summer. And it goes right in line with X.
I love that with it. Yeah, right in line with X. So let's give away X to 3 people. Give us your comments, not in the live chat. Again, save it for the call to finish. What are those key tips for detoxing as you get into summer? And we'll read 3 of your comments next week and give away X to 3 people. You guys have a great week.
See you.
Lauren, turn off your sound right now. My blood pressure goes up when Lauren's around. No.
Do we want to go there?
Oh.
No?
I was hoping
Okay.
you would just hook on
Pick
to the
that
next
up.
one.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what I'll do.
Okay. Did you know you're on the call? It's you.
So guess who's going to say that?
Maybe you. We'll get lots of bloopers.
We'll be here till 3.